friends, my name is Katie, and for today's video, I'm going to show you what happens when a remake goes wrong. And by that I mean that I had a skirt that I upcycled, so it was a long skirt, I'll show a picture here, and then I upcycled it into a shorter skirt here, which I like the way it turned out in concept, but in actuality it was too short for my liking and it wasn't frayed enough, so it really was nothing towards what I actually wanted, and I honestly wasn't going to wear it ever again. So I thought instead of just keeping this skirt as is that I'm never going to wear, I would upcycle it again into a cute tote bag that I can carry my groceries in or carry just as a general use purse, which is what I've been using it as. So here's the tutorial. Let's get started. Here is the before skirt again. It was long, but it was also really tight around my waist. So in actuality, it didn't have a ton of material. And here is the shorter skirt that I made out of it, which looks cute. It really does, but yeah, I wasn't gonna wear it. So I'm gonna cut off that waistband that I had attached to turn it back into one giant piece of fabric. And then I'm gonna cut the two tapered sides off of it. And then where it tapered, I'm gonna cut this to make it into one big rectangle again. And before I had sewn darts into it, so I'm also going to take out those darts. And you can see where the dart is. I do not know why I chose not to iron any of this, just to make my life more difficult, I guess. So now I have two big square pieces of fabric, so now I'm going to cut them into the same rough dimensions. These are going to be the two sides of the purse. And again, there's those darts that why didn't I iron these out? So to make the actual pattern of this, we're going to use a lemon, and I'm going to use some of my craft paint. It's acrylic, it's like 33 cents at any craft store. And the trick with this is that you have to get the right ratio of paint on it. So I did a couple experiments to see what that was, because the first ones I did were just way too much paint, so they didn't really show that texture on the lemon. But you can see once you get the ratio correct, you can see that texture. And yes, you will get this all over your hands. It is definitely a messy craft. And then here are all my pieces. They're in still that rough stage because I wanted to do the pattern before. And then I'm gonna take my pieces and I'm just gonna square them off. After you've got everything measured, I'm now going to start assembling it. I find it's easier to put the bottom piece together, so you're going to put those right sides together and then sew a straight stitch. And you can see I mismeasured a little bit, so I'm just going to cut off that extra to make it easier to sew later. So now I've got the two sides sewn to the bottom. I'm going to sew both of the side panels to it, and then we're gonna attach it all around. So after sewing that with a straight stitch, I'm now going to sew it to the bottom, and this is a little bit tricky, but it's actually a lot easier to execute, I promise. You're just gonna wanna use a lot of pins and make sure you really get the corner, because sometimes it is hard to get that corner, but just sew over it a couple times if you're unsure. And then once you've sewn that, you're just going to do the same thing and you're gonna attach the other side to it using a straight stitch. And like I said, just really make sure you reinforce the corners. Once you have all your sides sewn together, cut off any extra material, especially around the corners because that'll bunch up. And then you're just going to turn it inside out. And I like to really poke at the corners again so that they're nice and flat when you have it flipped the correct way. Woohoo! You now have a square tote bag. Now we're going to finish the top of it. So now I'm just going to roll over the edges twice, and I'm just doing a straight stitch on this one. So now for the bag handles. I like to have handles that are really long so they actually fit over your shoulder and are comfortable to wear. So I'm taking a Target tote bag that I have and I'm measuring it, and its handles are about 21 inches. And then I'm going to use some leftover material that I bought at the thrift store that was super cheap, and it's kind of a heavyweight cotton because there wasn't enough of the cotton left from the skirt to make handles. So I'm going to roughly cut the material because there was a lot of it, so it was kind of hard to use in bulk form. And then unlike the skirt that I just made, I'm going to actually iron this part down flat so that I can use my rotary cutter with it and it'll be a lot easier to get those straight lines. Pro tip, guys, everything is easier when you iron it. So now I'm going to square off the edges of my material. I'm going to make mine 3 inches wide. That way it'll be a nice thicker strap on my shoulder. And then I'm going to take it over and basically make it kind of like a bias tape. So I'm going to fold it over in half and then iron that down. And then I'm going to fold over the seam allowance on both sides and also iron that down so that when I sew it, it'll be nice and clean on the outside. I'm then going to take it over to my sewing machine, and as you can see here, I'm literally just folding it in half and sewing a straight stitch down. Once you have it all sewn together, I am going to take the iron this time and iron it nice and flat. That'll just make it look much better and it'll make it a little bit easier. And then I'm going to actually cut it a little longer to 25. That way I have some material to fold under so that the straps don't end up too short. I'm now going to measure the placement of where I want the straps to be. I'm going to put them about 2 inches in, so between the 2 and the 3 inch mark. And then I'm going to sew it down about 2 inches. So I'm going to put the material where I want and then kind of just gently place it behind and pin it. And I'm going to do that for both sides. And then to sew this on, because it is a tote bag, I'm going to sew basically the box with the X across it to make it super strong. And feel free to reinforce this if you'd like. These are your straps, so the stronger the better. that is all for the actual tutorial part, and here is the bag, and I love the way it turned out. I think the lemons are so cute and they're so like fun and happy and springy, and even though we're going into fall, they like just make you feel really happy. And I wanted this tote bag to be something where I could actually carry like groceries in, or carry items from the store when you forgot your reusable bag, because I'm trying desperately hard to be less wasteful in my everyday life. So having tote bags that you can actually put stuff in is super, super helpful. So, and I actually, I use this as like my everyday bag. I've got like, whoops, get off me. I've got like random stuff in here, like I've got like crackers, I've got a power bar in case you're hungry, I've got a crochet hook for if you ever need to crochet, I've got like my lipstick, and of course like my money, I've got my reusable spoon, that stuff, and I've also got bobby pins for pinning back the crazy. I really like the way this one turned out. I think this is a much better use for my life than a skirt that I wasn't going to wear again. So if you ever have any awesome DIYs that you make and then you're like, yeah, maybe it was better in concept, just upcycle them again. There's an unlimited possibility to what your mind can create. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a big thumbs up. It lets me know that you guys are there, and it's free, and who doesn't love free things? If you guys are not subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button down below, because we are going to be making lots and lots of stuff, and I'm super excited to have you with me as part of the DIY family. So I hope you guys have a fantastic week, and I will see you guys later. Bye!